Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much to Raya and Mordechai for hosting and broadcasting this year. And we're going to start now Perek Dalet, chapter 4. In my sefer, it's page 294, but there are different books. And of course, I was thinking to myself, maybe we should start the beginning of the week. But then I said to myself, by divine providence, we're up to here. We have bitachon, no pun intended. We have trust in Hashem that we are on the right place in the right day. And so let's start. And B'ezrat Hashem next week, it's a nice long chapter as well. And let's begin. In the previous chapter, Perek Gimel, chapter 3, it was a fascinating chapter where the Chovot HaLevavot described in great detail about how we have to put our trust in Hashem. We have to realize that Hashem accomplishes everything, plans everything, and that we should remember how to balance making a keli, making a vessel, and on the other hand, putting our trust in Hashem. Now, in Perek Dalid, the Chovot HaLevavot is going to continue that there are two types of bitachon. One is of materialistic matters, and one is of spiritual matters. Aval. Now let's look into the text. Aval hadvarim shechayav hama'amin livtoach bahem al haborei yitaleh. However, behold, the items that a believer in Hashem must trust in. Kolalim otam shnei minim. It includes two different types of subjects, of concepts. Echad mehem divrei olam hazeh. One of them is the subjects of this world, materialistic subjects. V'hasheni divrei haolam haba. And the second refers to spiritual ideas of the world to come. And the ideas of this world also can be divided into two parts. Can be divided into two portions. One of them is materialistic subjects for the benefit of this world. Hasheni, and the second one is Inyanei haolam l'to'elet haolam haba. The subjects of this world for the benefit of the world to come. Inyanei haolam l'to'elet haolam hazeh, and the subjects of this world also can be divided into three portions. Echad mehem, number one. Obviously, soon we're going to break it down and we're going to go into each level. Echad mehem to'alot gufo bilvad. One of these things that bring benefit only to the individual, to the person. And the second thing, and the second object is to'alot tarpo v'sibot hono u'minei kinyanav. The second thing are the benefits for his food and things that he acquires and things that are a benefit for him, things that he's going to buy. And number three are to'alot b'nei veito v'ishto krovav ohavav v'oivav. The third thing is the benefits to the people around the individual, his family, his wife, his children, his friends, his enemies. And to people that are more important or less important than the person. In other words, we're breaking down the subject of how a person relates to Hashem and trusts in Hashem. The way we break down how the person finds himself in this world. You have the individual themselves, and the people around them, and you have the things that the person acquires, there are some things that are even removed, are remote, are distant. Now that we talked about the subjects which relate to this world, the subjects which relate to the world to come, the spiritual ideas, Also, also can be divided into two parts. Echad mehem, one of them is Chovot HaLevavot v'Eivarim. The obligations of a person, the emotional, the spiritual obligations, which are placed on the person's body, on the limbs of the body. For example, you put on tefillin, you do tzedakah, you help a person, you light Shabbat candles. Bidvarim hanogim rak lo atzmo, things which are connected just to the person himself. Ve'ein ma'aseh yotzeh behem lanadzu latov u'leleziko. And it doesn't have to do it does not have to do with anyone else, not to help them, not to damage them, not to hurt them. But then, v'chelik hasheni, the second concept, which is related to the spiritual objects, are chovot ha'evarim asher lo yuchal la'asot otam ela b'hishtatfut zolato imo b'foal u'v'hefel. That a person cannot do it himself, only through the help and the guidance of another person. For example, nitinat tzedakah u'gemilut chasadim. So earlier I gave an example for the first level of tzedakah. The first part is him, but it's not a good example, this one, because you need someone else in order to accomplish that mitzvah. You can't do the mitzvah on your own. It's, for example, like it says in the Chassidut, that Avraham Avinu represented chesed, kindness. Now, if someone just feels kindness or plans to do good, wants to do good, it's very nice, but at the end of the day, the good deed is not going to get done because you didn't get up and put the 5 shekels in the person's hand, or you didn't give the coffee to the person when he walks into shul or after davening. You thought about it. You have good intentions. Hakol tov v'yafeh, it's all wonderful. But you have to actually get up and do it. And so, so this second idea of spiritual items that we exercise and experience in this world relate to mitzvahs which are connected to another person. You need another person in order to accomplish it. So, for example, the midat hachesed, Hashem has the attribute of kindness in the Atzilut, in the Ein Sof. It's wonderful, but if you don't use it, you have to. A person has to take his inspiration from that midat kind. Even when Hashem came to visit him, he said, "Excuse me, Hashem, I have guests over here." And so this was an individual that was full-fledged, immersed into the midah of chesed. Let's continue. Another example of a mitzvah that you need someone else. Excuse me, please. Another example of a mitzvah that you need someone else in order to accomplish it is limud Torah, learning Torah, and to command other people to do good and to stay away from bad. When we talk about limud Torah, learning Torah, we mean teaching Torah. So you want to learn for yourself, that's also nice. But to teach someone else, you need to have someone else in order to teach. Or for someone to teach you. The subjects of Olam Haba can be divided into two parts. One of them is the reward which is befitting the person. Excuse me, please. And the second concept of Olam Haba is Tosefet HaSachar Shenoten HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the additional reward that Hashem gives to his Chasidim, his followers who love him, and to the prophets ba'olam haba in the world to come. V'hinei, and behold, kol advarim shebotchim bahem, all of the things that we trust in, al borayit barach, on Hashem, blessed be He, shiv'ach halakim. In summary, we're discussing 7 portions. One of them is we trust in Hashem about a person's own body. And the second idea is the ideas of his parnasa, his livelihood, and his food. The third concept is the subject of his wife and his children, people that are close to him. In other words, his surroundings. And number 4, Chovot HaLevavot, the obligations that a person needs to do with which are connected to how he acts with his body. Which he unifies with, which the benefit comes to the person, and perhaps, God forbid, the opposite. Number 5 are those mitzvot which are connected to his body, which are connected to someone else. Number 6 is the sachar, the reward in this world. And number 7, finally, is the gemul, tosefet, the additional reward which Hashem gives when He feels necessary that a person deserves it. Like it says in the pasuk, Ma rav tuvcha shetzafanta l'reyacha pachalta lachosim bach neged bnei adam. What an amazing good. Excuse me, please. Hope you're not counting how many times I'm yawning today. Like, what an amazing Rav Tuvcha, Hashem's unbelievable kindness that you have hidden, like a hidden kindness. Lireyacha, for those who fear you, and you have accomplished for those that trust in you. We're talking now about trust, bitachon. Since I, the Chovot HaLevavot, has explained in the previous chapter all of the introductions that will become clear to a person when they have proper bitachon, then they know, it becomes clarified for them how to actually have bitachon in Hashem. Yesh alai l'smoch lan pirush afanei yashar bitachon b'chol echad me'ashivat dvarim. So now I'm going to connect, the Chovot HaLevavot says, I'm going to connect the different ways on how to achieve this bitachon, and going to connect the previous chapter to these 7 points that we just mentioned, starting from a person personally, to the people around them, and ultimately to the reward. The chol echad me'ashivat dvarim, for each one of the 7 ideas, asher bahem yivtach, that within them they should trust. Kol boteach ala elokim v'al zloto echad echad. Anyone who trusts in Hashem and anything else besides for Hashem, which we realize is only a medium, it doesn't have an opinion of itself. Even if there's another medium, like we learned in the last chapter, it's Hashem who accomplishes all of the greatnesses. In summary of what we've learned today, that we're going to connect, starting next week, B'ezrat Hashem, on Monday, we're going to connect these 7 points that a person should focus on their bitachon on Hashem, with the previous chapter, Paragimel, which is ultimately an introduction to this chapter. Thank you very much for joining us, and B'ezrat Hashem, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, 9:30, for Kabbalah Cafe. And we should have a wonderful day and a great Shabbos. All the best.